about anything that you want to talk about. We'll jump back into Rainmaker tomorrow, and we're going to recap what we've talked about so far. So what is a rainmaker? A rainmaker is someone who makes it rain. And in the business of real estate, that means a rainmaker is someone who creates opportunity. So interesting talking to real estate agents. So many agents don't know, well, we don't know what we don't know, that their number one job is lead generation. You know, they never talk about that in real estate school, right? And they join a real estate company, and the first thing they say is, I want to learn everything there is to know. Cool. I'm not really sure I want to know everything there is to know. Matter of fact, I know I don't want to know everything there is to know. I don't want to know how to enter a listing in the MLS. I don't want to know how to do contract to close. What I want to know how to do is I want to know how to lead generate. Because until I have somebody who wants to buy a home or sell a home, nothing else matters. So focus on your one thing. Your one thing is lead generation. And in order to lead generate, I'm going to block time in my calendar. Remember, I said it's a recap day. I am going to block time in my calendar so that I have time set aside for my 20%. Now, my 20% is lead generation. It is going on appointments with buyers and sellers. It's taking listings. It's executing contracts, and it's practicing and role-playing my scripts. In other words, practicing and role-playing the conversations of real estate. I'm going to block at least 3 hours, maybe 4 hours for lead generation, maybe longer, because until I have somebody who wants to buy a home or sell a home, nothing else matters. So you want to be disruptive in your real estate business, lead generate 8 hours today. Lead generate 8 hours tomorrow. Matter of fact, lead generate 8 hours every day, and then just figure out when you're going to go on appointments. The best thing that could happen to you is you have too many appointments and no time to go on the appointments. Right, Eddie?
I agree.
Yeah. Now, what is lead generation? Well, so to me, lead generation is prospecting based and it's marketing enhanced. Now, prospecting based means that I am going to get on the phone and I'm going to have conversations with for sale by owners, expired listings. I'm going to circle prospect around a property that just listed or just sold. I am going to door knock a neighborhood. Yes, I know COVID. And yes, I know that we're practicing social distancing. And yes, I want you to be careful. So wear a mask, knock on the door, step back 10 feet so that they don't feel threatened, and have a conversation with them. But it's a conversation. Now, what's the purpose of a conversation? Purpose of a conversation is 3 things. Number 1, get an appointment. And let's talk about that. I'm going to get an appointment with someone who is interested in selling their home. It doesn't matter to me if they're interested in selling their home in the next 30 days, next 60 days, or a year from now. I'm looking for people who are interested in selling. And they're going to go in my pipeline. And I'm going to add at least 1 per day, which means in the next year, if I work 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, I've got 250 people in my pipeline that I'm following up with. Included in those 20 conversations, in addition to prospecting, I'm working my database and I'm working my relationships for repeat and referral business. These are care calls, they're not sales calls. It's Alex, John Dietz, Keller Williams Realty. Just want to let you know I thought about you. And I'm just checking in to see how you're doing. How's everybody at home? How's your family? How's work? Are you still able to go? Are you still able to go to the office? Or are you working from home? And yeah. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you're able to work. Me too. And I'm grateful for that. And it's Ford, Family, Occupation, Recreation, Dreams. Now, real estate is going to come up in the conversation, guys. They know you're a real estate agent, and they're going to ask, how's the market? And your answer to that is, the market is awesome. It's a hot seller's market. There's very few homes for sale, and the properties that are coming on the market are selling really, really quick. So now is a good time to sell. Just out of curiosity, before I let you go, who do you know that might be interested in selling their home? I'm looking for seller listings. All right, 20 conversations a day. I'm prospecting based, I'm marketing enhanced, and I'm working my database in order to bring value and care to the people that I know and build relationships. And I'm also looking for referrals. I'm going to get at least 10% repeat and referral business from that group if I work that group. Now I'm having 20 conversations every day. It's not 18, it's not 19, it's 20. If you knew the 3 people that were going to say yes, you would just call those 3 people. And you don't know. So you have to have at least 20 conversations a day, focused on getting an appointment, getting a referral, or adding somebody to your database. Now, if the purpose of the call is to get an appointment, the purpose of the appointment is to build a relationship, to create a foundation to follow up from, and look for opportunity. Now, included in my daily lead generation, I'm going to follow up with everybody that's in that pipeline. So that's going to take a system. It's going to take technology. And if I'm with Keller Williams, which most of you are, they're in Command and they're on a smart plan. And the smart plan is going to do most of the communicating for me, which is awesome. And I'm going to make those phone calls in order to create emotional proximity. Now, because I'm following up forever, then I am going to be there when they're ready to sell or they're ready to buy. And remember what I said just a couple of days ago, maybe it was yesterday. Sometimes the definition of success is just still hanging around when they get ready to sell or buy. All right, I'm going to pause for a moment and give you guys an opportunity to talk to me. Lead generation. You're a rainmaker. It's your opportunity. It's your job every day to create opportunity. You are a rainmaker. Now, if every single one of you went to work every day with urgency and focus, and you had 20 contacts every day, you added 1 person to your database every day, you send out 5 handwritten personal notes every day, and then you follow up forever, what does your business look like? All right, talk to me.
John, an agent wouldn't be able to handle all the business because the opportunities become endless.
Yep. I agree with that. I agree with that, Corey. So the answer to that, systems, models, tools, technology, that's going to lead me to the organizational model in the millionaire real estate agent, which means it's time to create leverage.
150% correct.
Yeah. That's the cool thing about this, guys. There's a model. Just follow it. Don't create the model. It already exists.
John?
Michael?
Purpose of a conversation is to get an appointment, build relationships, and look for referrals. Is that correct?
Purpose of a conversation is to get an appointment, add people to your database, or get a referral.
And then the purpose of the appointment is to build relationships, look for opportunity,
and create a foundation to follow up from.
Thank you.
Yes. Now, and I don't want to leave something out that's super important, because I'm saying that the purpose of the conversation is either to get an appointment, get a referral, or add somebody to your database. You're doing that by caring and loving on your people. You're doing that by providing value to every conversation. So don't leave that out. I'm not saying that we're not building relationships. We're not providing value. I'm not saying that we're not doing those things, because we are 100%. The result of doing that is getting a referral, adding somebody to your database, getting an appointment.
Another question, John.
Yep, talk to me.
So 20 contacts a day.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, we're calling expireds, FISBO, circle prospecting, all that.
Mhm.
Are the database care calls in your mind included in that?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Yeah. The person that I talked to in line at Starbucks is
Yeah.
included in that.
Okay.
As long as I am having a real estate conversation, which it could be a 5-minute conversation, Michael, and 30 seconds of it could be real estate. That's a conversation.
What about follow-up calls?
For me, yes. A lot of coaches would tell you no, that
Right.
it's only new contacts. But for me, I include those in my contacts. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, you make adjustments. And what I mean by that is if you're not hitting your goals with 20 conversations a day, then bump it up to 25 conversations a day. If you're still not hitting your goals, bump it up to 30 conversations a day. Now, if you're still not hitting your goals, then step back and take a look at your conversion. In other words, how well do you know your scripts? Because if you're having 30 conversations a day and you're still not getting appointments, then you're probably getting out scripted. Every Zig Ziglar used to say, in every sales conversation, someone is going to make a sell. Either you are going to help your customer self-discover that they should hire you. In other words, you're going to sell them on hiring you, or they're going to sell you on why they should not hire you. But somebody's going to make a sell.
This is kind of like why this is why it's important to track who you're calling.
Oh, yeah.
You know, every single day, keeping track. Is it a for sale by owner? Is it expired? Is it follow-up calls for buyer leads? Because if you're not hitting your numbers, I mean, that could be a big indication as to why you aren't.
Heather, I agree 1,000%. Guys, it's just that simple. That's my call sheet from yesterday. Calls, contacts, appointments. This is my call sheet from 2 days ago. Calls, contacts, appointments. It's that simple. 3 days ago, calls, contacts, appointments. 18 years later, I'm using a piece of paper and I'm making slash marks.
And that's what we have. We have for sale by owners, expireds 1 through 20, and you just mark off who you're talking to, and if you were, and then how many appointments you were able to set. So how many calls did it take me, and how many appointments did I set per category? It's a big eye opener for a lot of people.
It really is, Heather. And I'll give you one other suggestion. Time block your team leader. Time block your lead generation time in 15-minute blocks. In other words, create a 3-hour timesheet that says 9 to 9:15, 9:15 to 9:30, 9:30 to 9:45, and make those slash marks in those 15-minute boxes. Because what that does for you is if you look down and you look at your call sheet and you made one call in the last 15 minutes, that means you got distracted. You should be averaging somewhere between 3 and 5 dials every 15 minutes, maybe more, depending on how many contacts you get. Now, if it's nothing but voicemails, I'm making 8 to 10 calls in a 15-minute period. It's dial, talk, dial, talk, dial, talk. Super important, because if I lose focus and I make one less call in a 15-minute block, that one call that I didn't make might be the $500,000 listing I was going to get that day.
So true.
That's why having a dollar is helpful. That's for sure.
It is.
I was thinking about something else that you said also about really creating momentum for your business. Go lead gen 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Right. When I don't have opportunities in the afternoon where I'm meeting somebody face to face, my only job is to lead generate so that I can create opportunity for the next day.
I agree. Yeah. I've had the opportunity to coach with some pretty amazing people in this company, and Tony DeSella was my coach at one point, and that was Tony's suggestion. Tony would just, if Tony was here today, the question he would ask is, what's the one thing that you're not doing? That if you were to start doing it today, what's the one thing that you're not doing that if you were to start doing it today would move you closer to your goal? Now, Tony would wait for you to get the answer right. And if you didn't get the answer right, Tony would say, it's go lead generate 8 hours. That's the one thing. That's the one thing you're not doing, that if you started doing it today would change everything. As a rainmaker, that's your job. Now, you could hire somebody to make calls. And if you have a team like Corey and Heather does, and a lot of the other people who are on this call with me, you do have people on your team who are making calls. Or you have an ISA who's making calls for you. And I'm going to tell you that you're the best player on your team. You're Tom Brady. Don't put in the third string quarterback. Put Tom Brady in the game. In other words, what I'm saying is you are the one who needs to be making calls. Nobody on your team is better at converting these leads than you are.
And you know where, like, it's the follow-up. It's not the, like, a lot of agents, I think I have a lot of agents that contact me about hiring an ISA. And number one, maybe they can set the appointment for you, but they can't follow up and have the same connection that the agent has with the client.
They never
once
will.
They meet them face to face.
Yeah.
They just don't.
Well, Heather, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Who has more to gain from that follow-up? You as the rainmaker or the ISA?
Well, me as a rainmaker.
Yeah, you are connected to the outcome. The ISA is not.
Well, a lot of agents want to give it back. They want to stop the whole entire prospecting portion of it. And even from appointment, looking at our, like if Natalie, for instance, called an expired to set an appointment, Natalie West, compared to the ISA, she's going to get more at bats by her because her conversion is in conversation is going to be better than our ISA that we've been training for 2 years.
Yes.
It's just we're better agents than an ISA.
Yes. This is you're Tom Brady. The ISA is a third string backup.
Mm-hmm. There's so many pieces to it, so many levels to the ISA position and everything that goes into it to make it successful. It's not just hiring the ISA.
100%, I agree. And you know, Heather, and I know you agree with this. I'm not saying don't hire an ISA. I have an ISA. It's not because I can't make those calls, because I can, and I'm better at it than the ISA, but the ISA is leverage.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Now, the ISA's job is to get me an appointment with a real estate agent who is going to potentially or eventually join Keller Williams. Once I have that appointment with that real estate agent, the ISA is not going to follow up with them. Just like Heather said, it's my job to follow up with them. I have real estate agents that I've been following up with for more than a year who still haven't made a move to Keller Williams, which is fine, because eventually they will, maybe they won't, and I'm okay with that. The ISA won't make those follow-up calls. I have to. Trust me, you guys know me well. I have a lot to say. I'm being quiet because I want you to talk to me. Somebody who hasn't spoken to me today, jump in here and talk to me.
Hey, John.
Hi, Lisa.
Good morning. How are you?
Outstanding. Thank you.
I have a question. I don't really know what an ISA is still.
So an ISA is someone that you hire to make calls for you. Typically, they are virtual. They do not work from your office. They either work from home or they're off-site. Talking too fast. My ISA comes from a company called Cyberbacker. And Cyberbacker actually has virtual ISAs who are in the Philippines who make phone calls. And that's a virtual assistant, right? And an ISA is somebody who's making calls for you. They're calling for sell by owners or expires to schedule appointments for you. Or they're following up, they're converting incoming leads. If you ran, for example, if you ran an ad on Facebook and you gave your ISA access to command, they're receiving those leads as they're coming in. And rather than you calling to convert that to an appointment, the ISA is calling to convert it to an appointment for you.
So does the ISA make it, is there a, what am I trying to say? The reasoning behind an ISA is
Leverage.
leverage. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the way you pay an ISA really depends. And what I would do if I were starting out is I would pay, I would pay the ISA a small base, and then I would give them a bonus. Now this has to be a licensed ISA in this situation. I would give them a small bonus based on the commission that I earned from the closing. Eventually, as I'm building my team and I'm bringing in 400, 500, $1 million GCI, and I have a 30% set aside for expenses, then I have money set aside to be able to pay an ISA a $26,000, $28,000, $30,000 a year salary.
So basically you would get an ISA when you're busy I'm just trying to figure out why somebody would hire an ISA. I'm assuming in the beginning of people's careers, they do all the cold calling and follow up. And is it because you get to a point where you get too busy on your follow up?
Well, you've got all the business. You've got all the business that you can handle, and in order to create more opportunity, you want to scale that business larger, then you would add an ISA in order to create more appointments. It's also, Lisa, when you're looking at the organizational model and you're bringing in buyer agents, and part of your job as a rainmaker is to create opportunity for those buyer agents, your ISA is making calls in order to schedule appointments for them.
Okay, I understand now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm considering bringing on an ISA myself, not because I want to just give them the job. I just want to continue to increase more appointments.
Yeah,
to be quite
Mike.
honest.
Yeah, Michael, and don't give away the job.
Right.
I've seen agents do that, and it's a big mistake. Your business will go down if you do. Good morning, Victoria.
Good morning.
How are you?
Great, thank you.
Okay, good to see you.
Good to be here.
Yeah. All right, it is 8:56. Give me a couple ahas. We're gonna end right on time today, guys. Honestly, the reason is because I have to get to the office before 9:30. So I'm jumping right off this call and running to the office. So give me a couple ahas, take us out. What are you gonna do different?
I like the, sorry.
Natalie West.
Yes, I was going to say, I like the part about the 15-minute increments because I squirrel a lot. You know, it's just part of my personality. So that will help me. And
It's a focus tool. And somebody asked me the format. It is so basic. It's a sheet of paper, guys, that is broken down into 15-minute blocks. That's all it is.
Hey, John, another good thing about the 15-minute blocks is that it's a visual that gives you a win. Mm-hmm. Basically, you knock out a block, and hey, I won 3 times, as opposed to looking at a whole hour and saying, what have I accomplished?
Yeah, 100%. And I kept them. They would go into just a file, and I would keep them for a year, which is a little excessive. But one of the reasons that I would keep them is if I got into a rut, I would go back and look at when was I crushing it? When was I getting a lot of appointments, scheduling and a lot of appointments, going on a lot of appointments, getting a lot of listings. And I would go look at my call sheets during that time period. And every single time, the reason I was doing better was because I was making more calls. The contacts and appointments will come. The calls is the most important part. That's the number one thing you control. So if I'm making 40 calls a day and I'm not hitting my goals, cool. I'm gonna make 60 calls a day. If I'm making 60 calls a day and I'm still not hitting my goals, okay, I'm gonna make 100 calls a day. Now I get to a point where I'm hitting my goals, cool. I know it takes 100 calls a day in order to hit my goals. Now I gotta make 100 calls every day. It's that simple. Now, if I get lazy or comfortable or complacent and I go back to making 40 calls, guess what's gonna happen?
Yeah, John, for me, it's never been, let me call from 9 to 11 or 9 to 12. For me, it's let me call till I accomplish my goal.
I don't leave until I accomplish my goal. And if my goal is to schedule one appointment a day, then I'm not stopping until I schedule an appointment. It's the 3-mile swim to shore.
That's
If you're swimming 3 miles to shore and you stop 100 yards from shore, you're still dead.
Yeah, and for me, I take it a little bit differently, right? Like if I can make 7 or 10 contacts and create an appointment, I'm happy, right?
Okay.
And I know that we should continue to push forward to hit our 20. And I'm not saying that everybody should do that, but for me personally, all right, I don't need to have 20 or 30 conversations if I can hit my goal, and then I can work on the other parts of the business.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that, Michael. The only thing I'm going to just encourage you to think about is change the way you look at things you look at change, is tomorrow you may not get an appointment. So making those additional contacts today and getting an extra appointment today builds a buffer for tomorrow. All right, I'm going to read something to you. Complacency is a disease. Every team and organization must guard against the disease of complacency. It can be very subtle in its early stages. For those of you who have a team, pay attention. In fact, it can go almost unnoticed. It is imperative that the leader of the organization not allow the seeds of complacency to germinate within the team. If they do, complacency will multiply faster than the most invasive weed. You become complacent when team members start to believe that their prior successes are going to ensure that they will have success in the future. Had a great month last month. Amazing, awesome, so happy for you. Get over it and go crush the next month.
And the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Corey. That's right. All right, guys, it is 9:01. Smile, dial 20 contacts, get an appointment, get a referral, add somebody to your database, write 5 handwritten personal notes, follow up forever, and go make it a great day.
Thank you.